You bought a coffee last week for $6. And here's the thing, you didn't even blink. $6 for coffee. 10 years ago, that same purchase would have made you pause, maybe even made you feel a little guilty. But now, it just feels normal. And that weird acceptance you just felt, that's not you getting richer. That's you getting quietly poorer. And you probably don't even realize it's happening. My name is Ansh, and I spend way too much time thinking about why your paycheck doesn't stretch like it used to. If you're someone who feels like you're making more money than ever before, but somehow have less to show for it at the end of every month, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, because what I'm about to show you is going to completely change how you think about your financial future. Now look, we need to talk about inflation. I know, your eyes just glazed over. Everyone talks about inflation like it's this boring economic concept that only matters to people in suits arguing on cable news. But here's what most people don't realize. Inflation isn't just making things more expensive, it's silently stealing your ability to build wealth, and is doing it in ways that are so subtle, so perfectly designed to fly under your radar, that by the time you notice, you've already lost years of financial progress. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you're making $50,000 a year right now. Solid middle-class income. You're doing okay. Now, the official inflation rate, the number the government reports, has been averaging around 3% annually. Sounds small, right? 3%, that's nothing. Except here's the thing, that 3% isn't describing how much more expensive things are getting. It's describing how much poorer you're getting every single year if your income doesn't keep pace. So let's do the math. If you're making $50,000 today and inflation runs at 3% for the next 10 years, you know how much you'd need to be making in 10 years just to have the same purchasing power you have right now? $67,000. You need a $17,000 raise over the next decade just to break even with your current lifestyle. Not to get ahead, not to build wealth, just to maintain what you already have. And here's where it gets interesting. Most people aren't getting those raises. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, real wage growth, that's wages adjusted for inflation, has been essentially flat for the average American worker since the 1970s. You read that right. For 50 years, the average person has been running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up, and they're not actually going anywhere. Now you might be thinking, okay, Ansh, but 3% doesn't sound that bad. I can deal with 3%. And that's exactly the psychological trap. 3% feels manageable. It feels like background noise. But inflation doesn't work in straight lines the way your brain wants to process it. It compounds, just like interest in a savings account, except it's working against you instead of for you. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're 25 years old right now, and you decide you want to retire at 65. That's 40 years from now. If inflation averages just 3% over those 40 years, do you know what happens to the value of your money? $1 today will be worth 31 cents when you retire. You need more than $3 in retirement to buy what $1 buys you right now. And this is assuming inflation stays at 3%, which, spoiler alert, it hasn't been lately. Here's the thing that nobody tells you. The official inflation number is lying to you, not in a conspiracy theory way, but in the way we measure this is fundamentally broken way. The Consumer Price Index, which is what the government uses to calculate inflation, measures a basket of goods that includes things like TVs and computers, stuff that's gotten cheaper over time because of technology. But you know what it doesn't accurately capture? The things you actually spend most of your money on. Housing costs in major cities have increased by 8 to 10% annually over the last decade in many markets. Healthcare costs, up 6% per year on average. College tuition, that's been rising at about 5% annually. So while the government says inflation is 3%, your actual lived experience, your rent, your medical bills, your kids' education, that's inflating at double or triple that rate. Your personal inflation rate is probably somewhere between 5 and 8%, which means you're getting poorer way faster than you think. Now look, here's where this gets really insidious. Your brain is terrible at noticing gradual change. There's this concept in psychology called the boiling frog syndrome. If you put a frog in boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if you put it in room temperature water and slowly heat it up, the frog doesn't notice until it's too late. That's you with inflation. The coffee didn't go from $3 to $6 overnight. It went from $3 to $3.25 to $3.50 to $4, and each little jump felt small enough to accept. But if someone had told you 10 years ago that you'd be casually paying $6 for coffee, you would have laughed at them. This is where it gets interesting though, because understanding this is only half the battle. The real question is, what do you actually do about it? Because here's what most people don't realize. Inflation isn't going anywhere. It's baked into our economic system. Central banks literally target 2% inflation as a policy goal because they believe it's healthy for the economy. Whether or not that's true, it means you're going to be dealing with this for the rest of your life. The question isn't whether inflation is going to make your money worth less. The question is whether you're going to understand how it works and protect yourself, or whether you're going to wake up in 20 years wondering where your purchasing power went. Your money is slowly being devalued right now as you watch this video, but now you know, and knowing is the first step to doing something about it. Take that step. Your future self will thank you. If you found this valuable, make sure you're subscribed because I make videos breaking down exactly this kind of financial reality that nobody else wants to talk about. Drop a comment and let me know, when did you first realize your money wasn't going as far as it used to? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.